Hello internets! I'm HamsterBomb and you guys are watching another figure review video, and this one's actually kind of different. I'm going to be doing a model review video. I've done some of the Metal Gear model reviews, and basically what I'm going to be doing this time is showing you exactly what this particular model looks like right out of the box, no paint at all. I later will do a video where I get to show the paint on this guy, but as of right now, this is just taking a look at Arsene from ACKS right out of the box after the guy gets put together. And I have him here with scale, just so you guys can see, next to the Figma of Joker and the Morgana that he comes with. Just so you guys can see how big this thing really is. It's making my background look pretty bad, just because of how large this is. You can see how bad and old my paper is. But still, just to, like, for a good scale, just so you can see this guy in comparison, it's really big, and fortunately, it's actually, for those of you who are worried about it, it's not hard to put together at all. I really did it in an afternoon. Wasn't a big deal. Also, for the record, there's decals that come with this too. I didn't even realize it. You're gonna see it when we take a look at the box, but they go on the face part here. I did not put them on yet because I plan on painting him, and I may actually paint that part. I might not. We'll see. I'm gonna go through, talk about the model as is, because I got some quirks with it already. Just to let you guys know how I feel about this thing. But for now, let's move these little guys out of the way. If you want to take a look at them, I have a whole video showcasing Joker's Figma review specifically. But before we get into this guy, I want to take a look. I always want to look at the box, but of course this is a little huge, so I wanted to pull it up over here. It's got his very nice Persona 5 box showing off Arsene, which hopefully now everybody and their grandmother knows, just because he ended up becoming the Smash Brothers Joker's only Persona to fight with, which I thought was actually kind of a cool move on their part. Anyway, here's the bottom of it, just to show you guys some extra angles and some art. I'm sure you can find art of this thing online. There you can actually see that others shot right there that's showing where the decals go on the face. So, yeah, and also this is a painted one they're showing here. Mine, obviously, is not yet painted, so if you're wondering how crucial the paint job is for this thing, I will show you in this video. It's basically the whole point of this. So anyway, like I said, he really wasn't hard to put together, though I ran into some quirks with it that I'm certainly going to be complaining about. There's a lot of issues here. First off, before we even get into this guy, normally I like to talk about accessories and like stands and stuff like that before I get into the main figure after the box. And like I mentioned, there is still decals that are in that box still, and there was a couple things chattering around. One thing in particular that absolutely drives me crazy that is in there, there is an extra set of hands, which are basically impossible to switch out. Yes, he's fully posable and all that, which is amazing, but the thing is, the joint that's holding the hands in place here, and I'm just going to come in closer with the camera this time instead of moving around normally, moving the figure around, it's because he's a little large. So you can kind of see how these hands are put together in here. There's two plastic pieces that just kind of snap together right there, and they hold the ball joint of the wrist in, which can rotate and move around if you want. But the problem is, like I said, they gave you another set of hands. They have these normal ones that are like kind of clasping, and then outstretched flat hands. I realized while putting them together, I basically had to choose which one do I want, because I was having an issue with basically getting this thing apart again to put another hand in. It's basically impossible, which really stinks. You can kind of see he wobbles on his stand too, but of course he's just going to do that. That's not me shaking the camera, that's just him. Hold still, buddy. So that really disappointed me that I have to switch the hands out and pretty much choose which of these hands is the one that I'm going to use. So I kind of decided on these. I thought they were a little cooler looking. Plus, you can go anywhere, but this can look like it's pointing if you had the angle right, or you could also have it look like it's sort of outstretched. So I kind of thought these were the hands to go with, unfortunately, and they take like two hands to hold this one steady and this one to rotate. They are in there tightly, so it's certainly not something that you'd be able to swap out the extra hands for. Now, since I'm mentioning what is still in that box, because it's honestly baffles me how this is even here, I swear I didn't mess anything up. Sorry, that's my phone going off. Of course, it's Metal Gear, and the box is ironically stuck shut as I'm talking about the fact that I can't open up the rest of the parts here. So this is a typical thing, and by the way, I'm going to show you these hands while I have them right here. Here's the unused hands. They're just outstretched. They're just ordinary hands. Thing is, you know, as you can see, this ball joint on the back here, might as well hold both sides. As you can see on that ball joint, it's a little big, and the problem is the shape that goes in here on these pieces is actually smaller than that. In fact, I followed the directions to a T to where they ask you to basically put the arm together and then snap the wrist in. That's pretty much impossible. You need to snap the arm around the wrist, otherwise you're gonna break it. I almost did. Good thing I didn't. But anyway, you pretty much have to choose which hands do you want to use and then give up, because you're not going to use those ever. Now, what I was going to say before, what I thought I messed up, normally you have pieces like this where they give you extra joints that you are not really going to use. Say, you know, pieces like this. And I hang on to these for whatever reason in case a part goes bad. But they include this sheet here. This one is an additional sheet compared to another one that had already been in there. Now, at first I thought, oh, this isn't a great idea. Since the hands don't come out, you can use the parts from this to rebuild the rest of the wrist so that you can switch out the whole half of the arm instead of just switching out the hands. That's not right. As I looked closer, these pieces are kind of all over the place. Like, these are parts of his foot. I think there's like these are shoulders. I think some of these go into the elbow. So it's almost enough, but it's not enough. You don't have the crucial part right here, which is the wrist, and that's the real problem. So this is a completely useless piece. I don't know why they gave us this sheet. If they'd better organized this, and they could have actually put those red pieces on here instead that I need, then you could have actually made it so you just pop the elbow out and, you know, have an alternate arm with the other hands. Because right now, I can't use those hands. They're just going in that box, and they sit there. So, gotta say, I've never made a model from ACKS before. Though, I mean, this aside, it was really easy. This is just bad. This should never happen. So, I don't know why. If someone can explain this to me, that'd be great. Because, as far as I can tell, that's just some bad design right there. And for the record, man, I'm smacking all of my stuff. Also comes with this very large, colorful book here. With information on how to put it together. As I said, it's very simple. They even use like 3D models to make sure you're lining things up right, which is appreciated. It's very simple. There's just segments like this, as I showed you. It basically tells you to build the arm first and then put the hand in. Do not do that. You're never going to see that thing separated ever again, and your Arsene's not going to have hands. Anyway, let's actually get into taking a look at the model himself, the finished work. So, all that nonsense aside, let's just say you start building this thing, right? You get the parts out. The stand is probably the first thing you're going to realize you're going to need some extra parts for. Fortunately, I actually build a lot of stuff. So I have a very, very tiny screwdriver set, and you're going to need this. They don't call for it on the box. There you kind of see it. I'm playing the autofocus gambling game today, so let's see if it works. You can see that itty-bitty little screw right there. You're going to need to put 4 of these in, and no, it will not work by hand at all. I didn't even want to go and get my screwdriver set. At first I was like, I can try and get them in anyway. No, they're way too tiny. You're going to, and you can't do this with a regular screwdriver either. You have to buy an exclusive little screwdriver just for that thing. So lucky I had one, but still, that's kind of annoying to anybody else I can see who wants to put this together. Upside though, it's a very sturdy stand. The only problem is Arsene is very large with a lot of wingspan, as you can see, so he wants to wiggle when he's up there. But granted, once you get him posed and everything, you're good to go. So, aside from that, I mean, assembly-wise, I did run into another problem, and we're going to get into it as we start looking at this guy head to toe. Though, I want to see if I can do this zoomed in closer like this, just so we can get a good look. It's kind of weird that the hat's actually shaped like this. I didn't realize it was like semi-hollow, but it is. Also, you probably couldn't tell, but as soon as the focus wants to show it to us, that is clear plastic on that faceplate thing that coils around. So that transparency is kind of hard to see, but it looks nice. And as I mentioned before, that is exclusively where the decals are going to go. And since I mentioned them, you know, I kind of want to pull them out just so you can see them. As I do have them in here, or they're supposed to be in here. Don't lose your decals, guys. I just apparently can't find where the heck where'd my decals go? Alright, well, never mind. I just lost my decal. I was joking about the irony of losing the decal, but still, I swear I put it right there. Oh no, I know where it is. It's right here. Hold on. I got this. Don't make fun of me. Alright, so here we go. Got the little decals. Now I'm going to take this little protective sheet off here just so we can get a good look at what these actually look like. Wow, okay, so I wonder where the hearts actually go. Come on now, focus. I'm trying to get a good shot here. There we go. So, I love the face, gotta say. I was actually wondering if I had to paint that myself, and I was really glad to find this in there. I'm not sure where the hearts go. If that was somewhere on, like, his thigh or something, I never noticed it. But, I will have to look around and figure it out. I'm sure it's in the book, too. But anyway, very wicked cool face. So, we're gonna see this later attached when I get to do my painted version. But, anyway, for now, I like keeping that little wax, paper on there just to make sure that those stay dry. Because that's how these decals are activated. If you haven't done these before, these are water-based. So, anyway, I want to talk about some of the issues I've had with this guy. I'm going to keep the camera back here just so I can kind of move around a bit, just so you can see some of the mobility you are going to get. These are typical ball joints over here. The wrist is, the elbow is very sturdy. You can kind of see it can be rotated at several points. The hands are, as I mentioned before, a lot tougher to get to move, but you can move them. So don't feel like they're completely immobile. And you can really choose if you want to go with like one, however you describe that, posed hand and then one outstretched hand. I was going to do that. Ended up changing my mind because I think these are more versatile just for pose options. Also, there's a little bit of gold paint on this piece here. This little piece in here. It is metallic. Looks really nice. This one is a pain in the butt to get stuck in, or at least I had a problem with it. Other than that, there's also a little bit of movement in the waist. There isn't rubber plastic, if that's what you were hoping for, like with Joker. Joker has some rubber plastic in here. I know it's, you know, Good Smile versus this is a different company technically. But still, it's no rubber plastic. This is all just regular old plastic. The legs, you've got similar kind of mobility in here. It's not too much. Granted, I'm not expecting, you know, the world out of this. It's kind of clicking around and honestly making me a little uncomfortable just moving him normally. He's kind of hard to move his legs around too much just because of the fact that down below there is no ankle movement, and he's got these giant stiletto daggers that just stick out of the back of his heel. And even with that, as you can kind of see here, I have his stand positioned about as high as possible for him, and it's still pretty much standing. So the stand really needed to be taller. I'm kind of disappointed with that, but still, if it can hold him up, you know, that's all that really matters. You know, the guy's not falling over, and if you can stand him somehow about normal leg standing height, then I guess you're fine. So I basically, oh yes, also his head does have some mobility. You can kind of see in here. I can twist it. Can go left and right about yay much. I wouldn't want to move it much more than that. Also, you get a little up and down movement as well once you're finished. So that's pretty good. Your head also can move a good amount. I really should have shown that earlier. I felt like something was kind of coming apart in the back just when I was doing that. And that's something that kind of makes me nervous about this model in general. The fact that it's simpler to build is actually a downside in the end because the parts are larger. They don't connect as sturdily as, say, like one of some of the Metal Gear ones that I've done. And that's a little nerve-wracking, especially when you're trying to get the guy to, you know, pose and stand up on his own, and he obviously looks very fragile. It's the wings that I'm getting here too. The wings are very problematic. So basically, the wings are, once you get them put together, just 2 pieces. You can already kind of see how this functions here. There's basically a pivoting section. I'm just going to swing all the way up so it's very clear what's going on here. You just have this one here, and then you've got another one that just connects into the back. Unfortunately, the one that connects into the back is on a joint. It should not be on a joint. It is way too heavy for that. So I had to ask our good friend Superglue in order to hold this guy together at all. I don't know if the focus will give us a hand in showing that off, but you can kind of see they're super glued together. Also, the stand might have been super glued into his back as well, but that's fine with me. Yeah, you can kind of see how it's kind of shimmery in there. Unfortunately, that was the only way I could get it to stand, because otherwise, I believe it was this wing, the one I was just messing with, would just fall down. So, like, come from here, and it would just sink. And it looked really bad, because he just could not hold his own wings up. So, a little bit of glue was necessary. Now, to be fair, I was going to say it could have been my fault putting it in, because those itty-bitty little ball joints just twist on the inside of there, and it tears the plastic, and it starts to make them give. I was trying to force them together. Problem was, because of how awkward the positioning is to get them into the back at all. I don't want to take it apart and show you, because obviously I'll destroy my own figure doing it. But that's the problem. Like, I can't take it apart to show you, because it'll destroy him. And I was trying to fix the problem. So basically, the core of the issue is the ball joints are kind of connected, if I do this with my hands, with like 2 pieces that kind of click together like that, and then they can rotate. Okay, well, the weight for this should be positioned like this, so that both of them share the weight. The weight on his wings are shared like this, which means, one, you know, the weight just pulls on them, and the bottom wants to snap off. That's the problem. So they have to be super glued together so they don't just fall and succumb to their own weight, which is really stupid, but still, that's basically it. I know I listed like a bunch of issues with this guy, but it's really not a bad model. I mean, for the size of it, for the ease of building, if that's something that you're interested in. Obviously, this is not something that's going to take you months like some of the other models that I have done. But still, it was a fun afternoon getting to build this thing. Also, I was super excited getting to build Arsene. 1, because I just loved Arsene. And then 2, when the thing came in, because this just came out, or at least as I received him, Joker was added into Super Smash Bros., which he'd been announced previously, but it was not shown that he was exclusively fighting with Arsene. So all of a sudden, this guy, I'm going to put him up with the rest of my Super Smash Bros. Characters, just because I'm like, heck yeah, pretty sweet. Now I can actually pose the 2 together. I am so excited to paint this thing. So since we kind of covered the mobility and the issues and the little things and whatnot, get onto the painting, because obviously the painting is going to be my next big video with this guy. It's going to take me a while. I don't want to take my time. I want him to look snazzy. Because as of right now, out of the box, it honestly doesn't look bad. Like, you kind of saw him with Joker, so if you're one of those who's really scared of painting the models yourself, really, this is okay. But if I were you, I would honestly start coating some of the simple pieces just in a different red, you know, just so that it's got a shine to it. Just coat some of the big pieces, make it easy for you. Some of the little bits like the decals and the clear plastic, I'm honestly not even going to touch that, and it's probably going to look great. So really, you don't need to mess with them too much to get these models looking really nice, though I'm going to spend a long time because I really want this guy to look really nice, and let's see how good I can get him to look. One thing that I wish I could figure out some way to do is get like that blue and white fire effect, you know, when like a persona is summoned. I would want to see something that I could like figure out how to do with that. I don't know if I can do it with paint, probably can't. Maybe I'll have to like build some sort of like stand that can sit behind him or something like that, but either way, I'm not sure. What do you guys think of the Arsene model? I was really excited when this thing got announced, especially that it's to scale with the Joker. That is just unbelievable. Really amazing, really excited, you know, for more Smash Brothers stuff, of course. And then, obviously, I'm a huge fan of Persona 5. I really just recently got into the game, and I gotta say, it's spectacular. So anyway, that is all the time I have for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like the videos and subscribe for more. I will see you all in, I guess, the part 2 of the imminent painting of Arsene. See you!